shapeless, like water.
This is the dojo.
Hoo-yah!
This is the dojo.
Hoo-yah!
This is the dojo.
Hoo-yah!
This is the dojo. This is the dojo.
Hoo-yah!
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 This is the dojo.
Hoo-yah! I can empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
This is the dojo.
Hoo-yah!
This is the dojo.
Hoo-yah!
This is the dojo.
Hoo-yah!
This is the dojo. This is the dojo. This is the dojo. This is the dojo.
Check 1 2. I think we're here. What's going on, guys? Hi. What do we got? Turish in the chat. What's going on, Turish? Good to see you, brother. Long-awaited return of this shit show we call the dojo. Welcome. We have ReAnimateHer here today. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Let me see. Yeah, mic's good. Desktop's on. Beautiful. Audio's working. Everything's good. So, hi, guys. I know we haven't done one of these in a while. And last week was canceled, the whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing we were going to do, but rescheduling as is. You know, we're going to work on that and get that going. Oh. Shout out everybody in the chat, say hi. If you got questions, pick them up. ReAnimateHer, welcome. How you doing today? You good?
I am doing fabulous. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
Oh, well enough. Glad to see you. I really appreciate you. I know you're busy, so thanks for coming.
Yeah, but still, always fun to hang out with friends.
Yeah, no doubt, right? Today, checking the chat. All right, cool. So, this always start these shows. You want to give a brief introduction in your own words of who you are, what you do, and what you're about?
Sure, sounds good. I am ReAnimateHer. I am a horror content creator here on YouTube and on Twitch. I play on Twitch indie horror games, showcasing the different types of games in the indie horror genre. And then on YouTube, I do a show called Coffee Chat of Horrors, where we interview people within the horror community, whether they're celebrities or just friends hanging out and want to chit chat horror. I had the pleasure of having the Pants Ninja on the show a bit back, and we had a blast.
That was fun. That was one of the best interviews I've ever done. Thank you for that.
I had a blast. It was a good time for sure.
Well, I'm going to do my best to keep the candle lit at least that high today, you know?
I got you.
But in honor of you, though, Miss Catonic University, we got the Dr. West background. I didn't put the whole costume on, but
definitely looks good.
Trippy Cass, hey, what's up, brother? I need her Michael Myers mask. I see him hanging out back there. Yeah, she's got quite the collection over there.
Yeah, I hope it's not too dark. I don't have all my lights on. I can turn them on, but that mask is, oh gosh, it's over 23 years old, that mask.
Good gravy.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, my eldest is 25, and I got that mask before she was born, so.
Oh, it's a good memory.
Yeah, one of my first pieces as an adult.
Oh, really? Okay.
Lots of my collecting started when I was younger, but buying my own like what I wanted, or like buying them at yard sales. Believe it or not, a lot of the stuff people don't realize what they're putting away in the yard sale. I'm like, oh, that online is like $200, and I've wanted one. So here we go.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. You're gonna find those ripoffs too. You got to watch out for your online sales. There's a lot of that going around.
Oh, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Make sure you buy from verified sellers, guys. But,
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to get ripped off.
Trippy's like, "Daw, yeah, Trippy." Good to see you guys, man. If you, like I said, we're gonna have chat for at least an hour or so here. It looks like. If you guys got questions, just pop them in the chat, tag me. If you got something to say, say it. We're all about freedom of speech here. But you guys know the rules. Don't wear pants. All right.
Pants are overrated.
Pants are overrated. I'm not gonna go on my speech. I'll save that for another time. So let's get started here. I don't know how if I cover any questions you've done in previous interviews. I apologize ahead of time.
I don't do a lot of interviews. People don't have me on their shows often, so it's very rare I do shows. I think you're the first one this year.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Oh, sorry, second one.
Oh, you did one earlier this year, right?
I did one actually yesterday. I forgot all about it.
Oh, man, getting them knocked out in a line, though. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah, it's definitely like we were talking about before the show started. Like this is a fun hobby for me. I know you enjoy it immensely, and let's get on that real quick. Like, how did you start? What started your streaming? Like, how did you start? What inspired you to do it?
I was bored. I'm an old school gamer, so
Yeah.
NES, that's where I started at. And I had a PlayStation, and I was looking at the new consoles that were coming out, PlayStation 4 or Xbox One.
Right.
And I decided, okay, Xbox One has Dead Rising 3 on it. That's a kick-ass game if you've never played it. Zombies, awesome. Tools that you can create.
I love
right?
that series. Yep.
I was like, let me get an Xbox. I didn't know what Twitch was. Sorry, that's my cat Fusa. I didn't know what Twitch was beforehand. So when I got my Xbox, I found out that this platform called Twitch, people go on there and they live stream their video games. So I was like, oh, interesting. So I watched that for a while, and then I decided to give it a go myself. And then I became part of the Xbox Ambassador program, where we started doing testing for the Insider program, where they started doing testing for the stuff for the app before the public gets them. And they were doing this thing with a platform called Beam at the time.
Okay.
And I didn't have a computer. And so Beam integration to my Xbox One. So they were like, well, would you want to try live streaming through your Xbox to a place called Beam? And I'm like, yeah, why not? So I left Twitch. I only streamed on there a couple of times, and then went to Beam, and I fell in love with the content creation on that platform because it was a lot of fun. Hey, Hardjar.
Oh, hey there. Welcome to the party, and welcome to moderator status. We're all equals on this platform. But yeah, like old school gaming, I think that's where it was at. And NES. Okay, what were your top 3 NES choices back in the day?
Well, I had. Oh, come on. There was a game, I cannot remember the full name of it anymore, but there was a game where you were going through a castle and you had to fight skeletons, and they were like in the ground. I can't remember the name.
Okay.
Me and my sister played the ever-living crap out of it. And this is going back to like 1985. So
Right.
We played the crap out of that. And then it was, you had to have Mario. Like, you had to have Mario. And then there was Bubble.
Bubble Bobble?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's what it was called. I haven't played my NES in a long time, but
Sure.
then later on, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are hard-ass games.
Yeah. I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I know a little bit about the history of video games, just a little bit. Me and some buddies were trying to figure out, like, where did it all start for horror in the video game industry, right? And we were thinking it was Atari. with they had a Halloween game and a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, I believe,
Yes,
right?
they did.
Right.
They
Okay.
even had a game called Pitfall where if you fell or had these alligators eat you. So that's kind of horrific.
I was wondering, like, would that be adventure? Would that be horror? What would we
I
consider?
think it
that?
would be a little bit of both. I mean,
Yeah.
I gather it's really dependent on what definition we're going to go by with horror. Right?
Yeah.
Horror can really be anything that makes you uncomfortable, squeamish, heighten anxiety, turn you off kind of deal. So I guess it really.
Yeah.
Are we looking like horror movie game? Then I would probably say later on, yeah.
Yeah.
That's we do have Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes in.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
the Halloween.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for a remake of the Halloween game, you know?
There is a fan-made Halloween game that's out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about that.
Nothing legit. There's also a Chucky game. There's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game as
Yeah.
well. They're all fan-made. And then Gun Media and Sumo Nottingham are creating the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. So that won't be out right away.
Yeah,
That'll be out for a bit.
I was gonna say that's coming. That's coming on soon. Garbage Pail Queen. Yes, my favorite people are on. What's up, Queen? How you doing, hon?
Hey,
Yeah.
Queen.
Hi. Yeah, she was supposed to be. We were gonna have a little thing last week, and GPQ. I promise we're gonna reschedule that. We're gonna talk Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I feel bad.
Love TCM. That's what I did yesterday. Was a podcast that I was doing yesterday. We spoke about the entire TCM franchise and reviewed it and put it into 1 through 5.
1 through 5. Man, I'm gonna say dual chainsaw Dennis Hopper forever. I don't care what they say.
Stop, kitty. Sorry, guys, if you keep hearing my cat. She's trying to make love to my friggin' mic.
Aw. Hi,
Oh,
kitty.
she's a pain in the butt, Fusa.
Fusa.
Yep, she's my 15 minutes of fame kitty. She comes here, says hello, shows her asshole off, and then disappears.
Oh, reminds me of my ex. Anyways, jokes. We got him.
Yeah, you need a little drum thing.
Yeah, I used to have sound effects, but the co-host Sasha Doll, shout out to her by the way. She's coming back soon, guys. She'd yell at me all the time for playing sound effects. Then I do it more, and I was a child about it, so I took them away from myself. What's going on, Wikipedia Snippet? Good to see you. It's been a while. I thought you were already over here before, but yeah, moderator status to you too. Congratulations. Everybody's a mod. Yeah, well, like I said, guys, questions, tag me, let me know. We were talking about the video games, right? So I don't know if you were familiar with the Phantasmagoria series.
Mm-hmm.
The actor from 2, Curtis, has been doing a play-along of it recently with Conversations with Curtis, I think the channel is. They were celebrating the 25th anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah, something. I just wanted to throw that out there because, you know, that was one of my go-to PC games back in the day was a Phantasmagoria
Way
series.
back in the day.
Yeah. It's funny though, like I say way back in the day, for me it was like maybe 15 years ago because at that time
When did it come out?
it was 90, 92, 94, 96, I don't know, somewhere in the 90s. Let me go Google powers.
Right? Google is your friend. That's what I am doing right now myself.
Release date, yeah.
95. Oh
90
God, the year I graduated.
95 and 96. Jeez, I was close to graduating at that point.
Yeah, August 24th, 1995.
Wow. Look at you. She beat me
just
to it,
Googled
guys. She just beat me to it. All right.
That game can still be played, hey?
Yeah, they have it on Steam. They have 1 and 2, and actually they just re-released Night Trap not long ago for anyone who was a Sega CD fan back in the day and was into the whole vampire thing.
Come on, Foo.
So definitely worth it. Seeing you guys in chat, I'll get to y'all. I see you. Yeah. So let's get started with this too. Let's get a basis of where did horror start for you? What was your first horror movie?
My first horror movie that I honestly didn't understand, I just seen what was going on the screen, would be 1980, Friday the 13th. I was 5 years old. My cousins, who were teenagers themselves, were just babysitting me, and back on the old rabbit ear TV, they were watching Friday the 13th. I sat there hanging out, just chilling, no idea what's really going on. They're
Right.
screaming and running out of the room and just leave me sitting there. And I watched a lot of cartoons, like what kid didn't back then. We had the best cartoons. And Scooby-Doo was one of my favorite shows growing up. I always wanted to be part of the mystery machine and be in their truck and get their Scooby snacks because there was some good shit in those Scooby snacks. So that started the I want to say true crime, ghosty, kind of supernatural horror. Dungeons and Dragons cartoon back in the day as well.
Oh man.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? All of these things kind of fed and influenced me. And my grandmother, who liked horror, she introduced me to a lot of the older classics. Now we call them Universal Monster Classics, right?
Yep.
So Universal, Hammer Horror. I was watching creature features at a young age. My grandpa loved King Kong and Godzilla. So that started. And around 11 or so, I watched Night of the Living Dead, 1968. And that blew me away. And I fell in love with the zombie genre. And then I found out about this movie called ReAnimateHer, 1985. And well, there goes my love. I've always fell in love with Frankenstein's monster. He was my go-to monster that I related to as a child. And I still love him, as you can tell. I've got a lot of stuff behind me that is Frankenstein's monster. And my favorite one is Boris. Then
Oh, yeah.
Fangoria magazine. At about 11, 12, I had a newspaper out, and Fangoria magazine back in the day was super affordable. I think it was like $5, if that. And I would take my allowance and go buy myself a Fangoria magazine. And Fangoria came out around that time. It was in, I think, the 70s. It came out. Oh, I'm showing my age. Around the 70s that it came out. And I was buying them in the 80s, late 80s. And I was picking them up from garage sales and collecting them. And I still have a pretty big collection. I used to still buy a Fangoria, but 20 something dollars an issue and shipping and international, no more. I don't.
Yeah, don't they
I
have?
stick with Rue Morgue.
I was gonna say they have an online thing with. I was gonna say Rue Morgue, didn't they?
Yeah, I have. I actually have a subscription to Rue Morgue. It's Canadian based. It's right out east, and it's just cheaper. I hate to say that, but it's just cheaper, and the magazine is great.
Well, I can agree, and there's nothing wrong. Like we're all on a budget, guys. It's fine. Like honestly, that's the way the world works right now, right?
Yeah.
Well, at least you
But
know.
that's my journey as a horror person, and then I was trying to figure out who I was as a content creator because I got into that, and I was playing all sorts of games, mainly Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight, Destiny were my games, Outlast, Overwatch here and there. And I decided, my friend Cranky Canuck, may he rest in peace, he asked me as a creator, who are you? What do you bring to the table that nobody else brings? And I was like, I think my passion for horror. And so I became a horror creator and focused my content around the indie horror game genre and just, chit-chatting horror on YouTube.
Hell yeah, that's a solid background to start, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was fun. It's been an adventure.
And I feel like a lot of people in our our group, right? Like our group of not just content creators but horror fans. A lot of them started with those magazines. And the '80s were a big part of the scene, you know.
80s was a huge part.
And even if we go back to the '70s with like those different exploitation films they put out and things like that, the taboo, definitely '80s was more mainstream for that genre. And I definitely feel like that's when it boomed. Like that's when a lot of us got introduced to these things, you know?
Yeah.
But
I call that the golden age of horror. I mean,
Yep.
yes, we had Universal. Yes, I understand. We had horror movies going back to the 1888. But where horror really blew out of the water was in the 80s. I mean, people loved 78 Halloween, but it wasn't until the 80s did we start seeing so many new villains come to the scene. We have Maniac, Freddy, Jason, ReAnimateHer. Like you have so many awesome stuff that came out of the 80s that influenced the horror of today, like majorly.
I was gonna. That's a good segue to a good question here. What do you think? Well, I don't know what or who do you think really like helped nail horror being mainstream? What was, or what era I should say? The 80s definitely, or do you think it was pushed more like in the 90s with some of those type of early 90s films?
I think 80s pushed it for mainstream. We had so many come out in that era from 80 to 89. Take a look at how many horror movies have came out.
Yeah.
Then we got a couple in the 90s. You take a look at the amount of horror, the mass amount of horror that came out in that era, in that 10 years. And then you take a look at the next 10 years and see about how much, and I'm talking about mainstream horror, I'm not talking about your indies and
Sure.
stuff like that. But your mainstream horror, and take a look what the 90s brought us. I don't believe now. I haven't counted each movie myself to figure out which one. I'm gonna say that I remember more movies being thrown at us in the 80s than I do in the 90s in the horror genre. The only ones that seem to stick out on me in the 90s would be the teen horrors, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Scream and Candyman. Those are the ones that come up to my head, and then we shoot to 2000s, and then I can think of more. But I think horror 80s is where it started pushing out mass. Like we had what Madman, Strangler, Maniac, and we have several Maniacs. I'm talking about Tom Savini Maniac. How many Jason films come out in the 80s? Halloween came out in the 80s. Like not the first Halloween was 78, but the rest of them, you know what I mean? And it started a friggin' avalanche of just horror upon horror. Some of it was shit, some of it was awesome. Then you have your Frank Henenlotter films, right? Because he's also in mid 80s going down. I want to say 80s is where it really pushed it out.
I can agree with that. Sure. I love it. I'm trying to read the chat here. Somebody had a question for you. I was trying to find it.
I think Harjar has a couple of questions. You want to know my secret when I do interviews?
Yo, what's up?
I get a notepad. And what I do is I copy their name, right click it, and I paste it to the notepad, because sometimes chat gets insane and we go off on tangents, because I am a tangent bitch, because I will go off on different tangents. So
I understand. I kind of go, a little bit here. Let's get to that.
Oh no, I go off on shit all the time.
Well, I call it passion, and that's why I wanted to have you on here, because you're very passionate and you're talented, and I knew this was going to be fun, and I'm already enjoying this.
Thanks.
Yeah. I know the chat's liking it for sure. Let's go old school game, blah, 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 blah. See, I got to start taking notes. Okay, let's go with the first question from Harjar, right? That's how I'm pronouncing that, correct?
Yep, Harjar.
Other than horror movies, what is the next best? Comedy, dramas, action? What do you feel?
I like comedy.
Comedy?
I love comedy.
Okay.
Yeah. I like comedy, and then I like action. I'm not a rom-com type of person. That's disgusting. And I don't judge anybody who likes rom comedies, but they're just not up my alley at all.
I can appreciate that. Do you have a favorite comedian? I know you do.
I do, and he's dead, but George Carlin.
Oh yes.
John Candy. Those are my favorites. Nowadays, Whitney. She did Whitney Jennings.
Whitney Jennings, okay.
Yeah, I like her. She's funny.
I don't know if I have to Google Whitney Jennings now.
She co-wrote some of the comedy for the Two Girls in New York. They were both waitresses. I cannot remember the name.
Oh, Two Broke Girls?
Yeah, that's it, right?
Whitney Cummings?
Whitney, yeah, Cummings. That's it. Jennings. I think in Jennings, Whitney Cummings. That's it.
Yeah. Gotcha. See? Google.
Yeah, works great.
All right. Well, John Candy, though, you hit a note there with me. I grew up on John Candy, and Carlin was later on for me. Like Sam Kinison, Carlin, that hit me in my later years. But Candy, forever.
Yeah, I love Carlin. I was watching old SNLs from 1970 when they first came out, and George Carlin was one of the hosts on that show.
Okay, yeah. I remember.
Back in the day before he started wearing his jeans and stuff, and his hair was all slicked back. And
yeah.
I remember that. Actually, that was my first introduction to Saturday Night Live. Was my mom would bring home like movies and stuff for us as kids, and I got to watch some of the later '70s stuff before, which was really cool. And then a lot of those guys had their Second City TV and stuff too. They moved down from that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember things, guys. See,
They come back as you reminisce.
I'm telling you, and that's what we do here lately is reminisce about the old days and how they were so much
They
better.
were good. They
Right.
were. The good old days. Never thought in my life I would say that.
Yeah,
I've always
right?
heard the adults back in the day when I was a kid say the golden years, like this is the best time. And my aunt would be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then nowadays I'm like, those were the best times. Like you kind of thought the future would have been some kick-ass place that would have been like party and rock and roll and all that, right? Not.
Yeah, that's not how
It's
I'm
a
still
double
waiting
ball of shit.
still waiting for my hoverboard. I mean, when it won't blow up on me.
Exactly. Do we have one of those yet? I swear to God, Back to the Future lied to us.
Well, they did make one. They had some kind of
Yeah,
hoverboard thing because I remember.
there is.
Oh, but it's terrible from what I understand. I don't know. I need one that actually works. I see a trippy guy. Is cosplay okay? Is cosplay fun for you, or is it just something for the stream?
Oh, I love doing cosplay.
Yeah, let's get in
I
on that a
love
minute.
it. Oh, I do. I like doing bloody horror cosplay. I'm not your sexy type of cosplayer. I just don't jive with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. It's just not my thing. The more blood and guts that I can have hanging out of me or on me or wherever, the better it is for me. So I like playing dress up cosplay like American Mary. I did an American Mary cosplay for Halloween and I did it for my stream. Uh, my bloody pinup. I do my favorite though is Razuzu. Pazuzu, but I call her Razuzu because it's me doing it, and I do my makeup like Pazuzu. And I also tell people that their mother sucks cocks in hell, and in my Pazuzu look,
Well, it's good.
I,
It's
I,
good family time right there. I feel
it is
like.
great family time. I am not family friendly. Just a warning.
We all know what we signed up for here. It's fine.
Right? I am so far away from family friendly. But I love cosplay. I used to do it quite a bit, but cosplay gets super expensive, especially when you have to order everything, like wigs, right? And for me to order my American Mary wig, she has brown hair with bangs. I'm not willing to cut my hair any more than I already do or color it.
Right.
And that wig was like $75 shipped to my door. How many times am I going to wear that wig? Probably one or two more times. So I want to do a Frankenhooker cosplay. I just need to get the wig. So I don't do as much cosplay anymore because of all the items that you need. They're COVID times, right? COVID has messed our shipping and prices up so
Oh
badly
man.
that I haven't really done any cosplay. I keep redoing my current cosplay because I already own the tools, the makeup, the wigs, the costumes, right? And
Makes sense.
yeah,
I started dabbling in that with that other, and that's how we met was that other profile that I run.
yes, Dr. Herbert West.
Which is funny to me. That started during COVID. I had 3 months off of work, and I'm like, I'm bored. So I
Yeah.
just started screwing around online, and here we are. It's funny how things work out. But, yeah, they're
Yeah,
talking.
hard drive. The cost is super crazy, man. That's why I don't do a lot of cosplay much anymore because the stuff that I want to do, it's either out of stock or it's taken 5 million years to get here or it costs an arm and a leg. However, I do have a wish list on my Twitch page that has a lot of wigs and stuff in it.
Guys, if you need those links, go under this video, click more under this description.
Did you like my wink in there?
That's how it works, guys. Oh, it's perfect. Great. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, guys.
Wink.
Yeah, definitely go support. And feel free to post any of your links in the chat too if you want. Whatever you want
I
to do.
appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you
yeah.
very much.
Our home is your home. That's what we say here. We like to be you guys. Well, I want to talk about that too. Even before all the COVID stuff, international shipping for that has had to be a pain in the ass. Like
International shipping is super expensive. I have a Patreon where I do sneak peek stuff, behind the scenes stuff, a whole bunch of stuff that I give people for their value of them investing into my content. And I send out Christmas cards, Halloween cards, little baskets. Christmas cards alone was $101.
good gravy.
That's just Christmas cards. I don't have like 5 million subscribers, like, onto my Patreon. So definitely, I have well under, I don't even know how many, but it's well under 50. And it's cost me about $101 just to ship my Christmas cards to the States and to the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and a few other out countries. And they're just regular ass envelopes. Like there ain't nothing crazy in them. A couple of
Right.
stickers, a handwritten thank you, Christmas card, or birthday card. And now it's basically tripled. I sent a small, tiny, literally like a small, tiny box about yay big and had a couple of little things in it. It wasn't heavy at all. And that was $50 shipping, and it wasn't anything fast. They haven't even gotten it yet, and it's been over 2 weeks.
That's ridiculous.
It's disgusting. I need to pimp myself out just to ship shit out.
See, guys, a lot of work goes into this content creation. I'm telling you, and we're gonna touch on base on that in a couple minutes. I feel like.
Sure.
There's a good question. Harjar again coming through. What is
Yeah, he's awesome.
one thing you would do for the stream if you had lots of money?
One thing, if money was no issue, I would really like to promote independent artists, meaning people in the indie horror industry. And I'm not talking about just movie makers. I'm talking about people starting out their own creative business where they're creating things like little death llamas and stuff like that, right? I'd like to showcase it and be able to give them money to help their Kickstarter or their Indiegogo to help other people achieve their dreams. I mean, there's so many of us that are so friggin' creative, but what stops us is the money.
Finances,
And,
yeah.
you know, I know a lot of independent artists out there, especially in the movie industry, that, you know, they're just scraping by to get this movie done, or, you know, they got to do an Indiegogo and Kickstarter and do it several times in order to get that budget. And if I had endless money where I could promote people for the stream, that's exactly what I would do. And then I would also do like pick people out to be able to help with whatever they needed, because everybody has an issue somewhere along the line, right?
That's very heartfelt, I must say. I like that. That's a good answer. Give me the alls for a minute. I like it. But that's what it is, guys. Like, show your support for people, and it doesn't always have to be financial. Do what you can, but like, just be there, help promote, share. Like, if you believe in a project, stand by it. And
Exactly. So many people have this creative side to them, but they can't get it out because they don't have the right equipment, or they can't start it because they're missing this kind of funding. And if I had endless money, yeah, you bet your sweet ass I would be supporting a lot of independent creators, books, authors. I just had an author on my show, Christine Morgan, and Brooklyn Ann. They were both on my show, and one of the things that they would love to have is audiobooks. But that's super expensive, paying somebody for the audio, doing the voiceover. And I'm like, crowdfund it, Indiegogo it. You'll get there. But it sucks because as an artist, as someone who is creating books like that, you know, her content can go so much further if she had audio books, right? Her
Right.
stories turned into audio.
I feel.
But how does one afford it, right?
I was just gonna say it's got to be expensive, and
Very.
not even that. Like, it feels like this day and age, everybody's on the go, and they don't have time to sit and read. So that would be, you know,
I agree.
like that's why
Reading
we have.
makes me tired.
Yeah, it does. It's something you do before bed, guys, right? Or at least, you know.
I do.
Back-
I can't sleep.
Usually I've tried to, but then I'm like, I don't want to do this. So I just put on some music and kind of like just do my little ninja thing, guys, you know? I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, yeah. Da-da-da-da-da. I could listen to Reanimated all day and have. Oh.
TPQ, she's so sweet.
Shout out to Garbage Pail Queen, guys. Definitely.
Seriously. Go show her some love, guys. She's awesome.
Yeah. I know she's got something she does Wednesdays. Her and Morgan Ziva, I believe it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I caught a show or two. And that reminds me, Queen, we got to get together on that because you guys are coming over here soon, I hope. Scheduling's up in the air. Cosplay.
Indie games are a lot of fun as well. I agree.
Indie games, yep. I just got down to that one too. See, I'm following, guys. I'm knocking the rust off a little bit here. Oh man, we were going off on something when I sat down over in your show. I'm trying to remember what that was. Something about Maniac Cop or something, wasn't it? No, you did a Maniac Cop show, right?
I did do a CCOH on the Maniac Cop
Yeah.
franchise. Yeah.
Yeah. That was, I gotta say, that was one of my favorite, Corman and all that, right? Was it
Mhm.
Corman, right? Yeah. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was Corman. No, that was I gotta look it up now.
Yeah.
I'm having.
There's so much information to hold in one's head and to remember off the fly.
Well, I do remember Bruce Campbell in it, and that was a big thing. Larry Cohen.
Yeah.
Larry Cohen. Yeah, not Corman. Cohen.
Yes, Cohen.
That's what. See, it happens to all of us, guys. Don't get old.
Oh, yeah. I try to remove all the useless information that society inputs into my head every day so I can remember my horror facts.
Yes, I was gonna say you were doing those this day in horror for a period there. Are you still keeping up with that at all?
No, actually, I've cut down a lot of the content that I create because I was not feeling balanced.
Sure.
Right. As a content creator, this is what I do for a living. I don't accept a big paycheck like any other entertainer out there. So, like George Clooney, Ryan Reynolds, they all put on a TV show or a movie for you and right, make that motherfucker rain.
Mm-hmm.
But someone like you and I, we don't have anybody behind us making it rain, right? So I do everything myself, from my video editing, my lives, all of my social media. Last year, it was just building up on me so much that I had to cut things out. So one of the things to go, even though I loved On This Day in Horror, I had to let it go for now.
Sure.
I let it go on all my platforms. I needed to make sure that I'm taking care of myself and keeping that balance. So it may come back.
Right.
It may, it's not gone for good, but it may come back.
I was just looking through some of the older stuff before. I've always been one of those silent watchers. Like, I'll like something, I'll watch it,
Same.
And I want to shout out the Coffee Chat of Horrors again too, because that's a great. I love the concept. I love the show. I had a blast doing it. Like, that was one of the best times I've had in a while. I'll say that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that show. It's my favorite thing that I do, believe it or not, is the interviews and then the movie facts, the autopsies on films, which I'm actually revamping CCOH movie time. So the autopsies that I do on movies, I'm revamping that completely. My CCOH interviews, they still stay the same, but the other stuff is being revamped. So I haven't put any new content out for the autopsy side of things.
In time, right?
In time, yep. I was building a set, but then prices and supply chain, the supply chain to Canada is horrific right now.
The world's definitely going through it too. I'm trying to keep up on some of that stuff, but it's tough.
Yeah, plumbers are buying up all the PVC because I needed PVC, and plumbers are buying all the PVC because their shipments aren't coming in, and so it's like.
Yeah, how do you? Some things can be substituted, but not everything.
No, exactly.
Indie games. Yeah, I want to talk. Let's get into the indie horror subject a minute, because I know you're a big supporter of Womp Stomp, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Womp Stomp, Red Crow Films. There's tons of them. I support a lot of them.
Well, I'd say, what are some of your favorites? I'd like to give some of these people a shout out, and you're very knowledgeable on this, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on some of these.
Now, I cannot remember the production company for some of these, but I remember their titles. The Jason Rising by Red Crow Studios or Red Crow Films. I always mess it up, but Jason Rising, a Friday the 13th fan-made film. It's here on YouTube. It's amazing and it's free. And it's a great. Oh, you need to see it. I love it. Pamela is back. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, okay.
The other one that I'm gonna do a shout out for is Friday the 13th Vengeance. CJ Graham. We meet Elias Voorhees. Okay, free to watch here on YouTube.
Elias.
Yes, Elias Voorhees, which is Jason Voorhees' father. We get to meet him.
That's
in
exciting.
Friday the 13th Vengeance. Womp Stomp, obviously, as you know, Womp Stomp, and the Merkins. Gotta give some love to those guys. Another independent artist that do a lot of their videos crowdfunded by their Patreon and their amazing subscribers here on YouTube.
I want to shout out the Merkins too, because that's going to give me a quick little. You just reminded me. I have to shout them out. I think I got Roy next week, guys, so stay tuned for that. Leave it there.
You are right. I did a top 10 on indie films. Not all crowdfunding indie films, but indie films in general on my YouTube channel. I did my top 10 that you need to see kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I did see the video pop up. I haven't watched it yet, but I did see that pop up. What was that,
It's
yesterday?
got a little bit for everybody. I think so. It's got a little bit for everybody. There's some movies that if you're triggered easily and gore is not your thing, stay the frig away from it. And then the rest of them are good to go.
I was gonna say on that Jason subject, by the way, is he your favorite slasher?
He is my favorite. He's my number one. I love Friday the 13th. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my second.
What
Mhm.
I was gonna say, what drew you into Jason?
His sheer violence and nonstop badassery. That mofo is like a freight train coming through. Ain't nobody like Jason. They're even turning Michael Myers into Jason with all these new Halloween shows. That is Jason Voorhees right there. That's not no Michael Myers. Michael Myers is shape. He's the guy that you think you've seen in the shadows, but you're not sure. So you're going to go and check it out anyways. That's Michael. The Michael in 2018 in Halloween Kills and then in Halloween Ends, that's Jason Voorhees. I don't give a shit what any y'all say out there. That is Jason friggin' Voorhees.
Oh my god, I love you, Raw. You're amazing. We were talking about this back when Halloween Kills came out too, so it's funny you said that. I definitely feel like he's more aggressive than the shape should be. I'll leave it at that too.
Oh, hands down. What made Michael so scary was the fact that you weren't sure if what was that? Is that somebody there? And then you're like, I'm scared because I think I heard and seen something, but I'm not really sure. So I'm gonna go investigate, and boom, you're dead, right?
Right. Yep.
That was the scary part of Michael. He was a cold, calculated, sleek killer. You didn't know he was coming right away. You didn't see the bodies. With Jason, he's like a freight train barreling through. He was in your face, over the top kills, bodies hanging all over the place, throats being slit left, right, and center. He wasn't the kind of guy that you thought, oh, was there something over there? No, you've seen him coming.
Oh, you know he's coming.
Compared to Michael.
Right.
And Michael now is just Jason. I know my buddy serial killer is going to hate me on that one. Huge Michael fan, but I'm sorry. The new vision of Michael is Jason Voorhees in a Halloween mask.
I agree 120% on all of that. Jason's my boy too for a long time. I don't know, Toxic Avenger first, but Jason right there.
I love Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, Toxie's. I know we talked Trauma a few times on that too, and independent filming. But that was my growing up with the independent. Was Trauma and Full Moon. They were the big ones for me as a kid.
Yes, Trauma and Full Moon. Yeah, they are independent, but not as indie as some of these other production companies. You know, Mike Hertz and Uncle Lloyd Kaufman, when they started out in the 70s, Trauma Entertainment, that's who they were, right? Yep. They didn't have the social media and the crowdfunding that they currently have nowadays. So they had to do something to bring what they wanted uncensored to the screen. And Trauma doesn't get played in movie theaters. They get played in like the grindhouse theaters, and hence the word grindhouse. Mm-hmm. They come out in the seedy, shady joints that we all love to visit. Right? You're not going to see them on the big screen. New Line Entertainment isn't going to be doing Romeo and Juliet.
They should. I mean,
they should, but you know how censored that would be?
It'd
what
be
about
5 minutes.
Guys Night of the Chicken Dead? That would be censored to the friggin' tit.
That would be like a 20-minute movie, all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And guys, if you haven't seen these great films, Trauma Now, go subscribe. It's only $5. Go do it.
Get a free trial for a week.
Yeah, there it is.
Amazon Fire Stick as well. That just came here to Canada, a Trauma app. It came out to Canada, I want to say late last year. So I was so excited because before I can only get my Trauma on my computer and what Trauma I owned. And so I was so pissed that I didn't have it on my Fire Stick. Now it's out on the Fire Stick for Canadians.
You hear that, Turish? You can get some Trauma in your life. So get on it. There's no excuses now. All hail Trauma, yeah. It's funny, like, the progression of that, too, because especially, like, starting the 70s and 80s and marketing now, like, it's I don't know. I feel like there's an oversaturation to a degree. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you, like, weed through it? But, you know, how do you weed through, like, what's good, what's not, what to watch, what to spend time with, you know?
I look at it this way: go into everything with zero expectations. There's so many films. I'm the kind of person that will never tell somebody not to watch something because I didn't like it. There are too many creators out there gatekeeping shit and influencers.
Right.
If I didn't like the film, I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it. I'm not going to tell you not to go see it. I will say, well, it was a waste of time for me, and try it out. I always give a film, I try to do 20 minutes to 30 minutes of watching before I shut that friggin' thing off. If it's shit, and I've seen some shit ones, I will never see it again. I won't even speak about it. That's, if it's bad, I won't even speak about it. You won't even hear me talk about it. But there's lots of horror movies that are being made that are just regurgitated bullshit.
Right.
And, some people like that, and that's great. I personally prefer new horror over the same stuff that's getting put out there. Malignant. I loved Malignant, and film Twitter, like shit all over it. I thought
Right.
it was amazing. Seen all the horror influences that Juan had. You've seen Seven in there. You've seen pieces of different films from the generation of horror and thriller and sci-fi, all jammed into this crazy masterpiece of gore and violence, and people shat all over it. Just give yourself some time. Go in with zero expectations. Watch the first 20 minutes of it. If you think it's shit, turn it off and go on to the next. The low budget movies is where is my heart. That's my home. I love Frank Henenlotter films, and if you know who Frank is, then you know how low budget his films are.
You guys taking notes out there? I know I am. I feel like I'm learning something every time I sit down and talk with you. And I'm not like, I know some stuff,
Trash can.
but
Stuff.
I know some stuff, but I'm learning some stuff, and I love that. That's why I love doing these things.
Yeah, they're so much fun. You get to meet people and educate each other,
Isn't technology amazing?
It is. So we're so far apart, but here we are hanging out.
Oh, guys, shout out to Ra. Like I said, Turish yells out, Canada! He's my Canadian tech buddy.
Nice. I'm in Alberta.
Alberta, there you go. I forget where Turish, you can shout out where you are. I can't remember. Because, reasons. We're not going to get into those reasons, but Malignant was so good. I loved it. I haven't seen it yet. I will. It's on my list.
Definitely watch it. I'm going to tell you, go in with an open mind. A lot of people, like I said, all you heard on film Twitter was, we need new movies, new ideas, new horror. Well, here's Malignant served up on a silver platter, and everyone's like, oh my God, that was a bunch of shit. And it's like, hey, wow, you just wanted new horror, or do you want the same regurgitated crap that people are making nowadays? So,
well, since I didn't get to talk about it last week, let's talk about that. There's a lot of remakes coming out. We talked about the Halloween a little bit.
Yeah.
There was a Jason one back in the early 2000s. The Nightmare
2009 with Derek Mears.
Yep.
I hated it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, let's just get on that. Why didn't you like it? What was it for you?
The whole thing.
Yeah.
I just did not like the whole thing. They say it was a remake, but what remake? 1980 Friday the 13th, Pamela Voorhees. So if you're going to remake it, you need to have a mom who just lost her son, who is vengeful and hurting. And Friday the 13th for me is a sad movie. It's very sad. It's a mother who loses her son. And as a mom myself, damn right, if my kid died somewhere, I'd murder every motherfucker. I don't care, and I'm putting it out there. I would. My kid dies in your trusted company, y'all are dead. I'll be coming back. I won't need a mask. I got my machete up there. But
facts. That's what the kids say now, right?
Right. And then part 2 is Baghead Jason. He's still somewhat humanized. I would have to say that their remake was part 3, which is one of my most favorites. And no, it does not hold a candle or a light to part 3 Friday the 13th. Not at all. It was a movie made for millennials. I could not relate to anything in that film. The kills were great. And you hear a lot of noises from Jason. Don't get me wrong. Jason does make noises throughout the franchise, but these for me were super noticeable as a silent killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't really care for it. I'm not going to say that it's the shittiest one in the franchise, because it's not.
Oh, it's definitely not.
But I
Like
can
Cat
agree with
always
that.
does.
Oh, yeah, photobomb and cats. I'll say I enjoyed the idea of a survivalist Jason. I enjoyed that
Yeah.
idea. I wish they would have taken it in a different direction otherwise. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about. Like you feel
Yeah.
like you're watching the end of part 1 and getting into part 2 right there, but that's not part 2. That's like we're already at part 3, part 4, whatever, you know? We're
Well,
not
yeah, because he has his mask, right?
right.
In the first one, Jason wasn't even the focal point.
Well, they started him in Sackhead.
Yeah, in the second one, he became the focal point because he
Right.
became the killer. Supposedly, somehow seen his mom's head get chopped off, and he
Yep.
was hanging out in the woods for like 40 friggin' years, playing with the squirrels. And
Yeah,
then
like
we see
what?
him. Yeah, and then he only gets his mask because of Shelley Finkelstein. If Shelley Finkelstein didn't go on that trip to the lake, they would have never gotten that mask, and that's where he gets his iconic hockey mask from. Is Shelley.
Shelly. My boy Shelly. Oh, poor Shelly.
Larry Zerna.
Oh, it's funny. I was just watching something on Friday the 13th. I just finished the Crystal Lake Memory thing, I think it was, or whatever it was. The big documentary on, I guess it was Netflix or something recently. Netflix or Shudder? I can't remember. Crystal Lake Memories. One of those.
Shutter.
Shudder, right?
has
Yeah.
yeah, I have the giant book of Crystal Lake Memories.
Man, that was
are
fun. That was a good one.
It's 4.5 hours. And I also got the bonus DVD, which makes it about a little over 5 hours for the documentary and then the book.
That's some nice. You're doing better
I'm
than
a
me.
big documentary person when it comes to horror films. I love them. Where I get a lot of my knowledge from. I listen to the director's cuts like over and over and over. I'm cleaning my house. Friday goes up. Halloween goes up. Texas Chainsaw Massacre goes up. Stop it, kitten. God damn it. Yeah, she's all over.
Oh.
Noises.
Well, we love animals here. It's fine.
Oh yeah, I love my guys. Love them.
Well, I just noticed the Trapper mask, by the way. I didn't see that before.
Yeah, normally Freddy Krueger's hat is on the Trapper.
Yeah, I'm just admiring the collection. I get lost sometimes. Don't mind me.
Haunt. Right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was a good one too.
Yeah,
I
and
enjoyed
it's
that.
signed.
Really?
Yeah. And I've got several masks and many you can't see at the moment.
Yeah.
They're all around my house and up top. And
Have you done a tour of your heart collection before? I feel like you
a
have.
small one. It's
Yeah.
on YouTube, an old one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't done one lately.
Okay, just
I
curious.
haven't done an updated one.
Yeah, that's where do we find the time too? You know, that's another thing we were talking about. Just trying to balance everything. Going back to that is a challenge in itself. What are the for you? What do the top 3 challenges of being a streamer, and how do you conquer those?
Top 3 challenges. I find everything is a challenge.
Right. Okay.
Keeping the energy to do everything
Yeah.
yourself.
Okay.
As someone who does this full time, even if someone was to do this part time, the amount of work with social media and your content and bringing in people from outside sources, because platforms like YouTube and Twitch, they don't really help you grow, right? You need to utilize outside sources like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, and funnel these people into these other channels. So I find the balance is really hard, balancing life with what you do, whether it's your hobby as a creator or a full-time job. I find that very challenging. Not getting disheartened either, right?
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's a really big one because you have a great idea. For example, I was making this video for YouTube and I put it out there. I thought it was going to be a really good one and people were going to like it, and it didn't exceed my expectations. And so it's kind of disheartening. Well, what, did people not like it? I had X amount of views on it, but only X amount of likes. Or people will just not show up in the live stream. And it's not that it's you're doing anything wrong. It's getting out of your head and reminding yourself it's not you or your content that's creating. People get busy. Staying true to yourself is something that a lot of people tend to forget when they're content creators, because they see all these people being successful and putting on all these different faces. Some dress up in cosplay all the time, so you never really know who they are. You have other people that put on a whole act and you don't ever get their genuine self. I find people end up losing themselves as a character than anything. And Vampira is a prime example of that. If you ever read anything about her, she's one of my idols. And she had a hard time separating Vampira from herself. Like, she'd go into public, she'd be Vampira. People would not recognize her when she did not have her makeup. She had a pixie cut and the whole thing. Nobody knew who she was.
Right.
She had a hard time separating herself. And I find content creators that I have known have ended up putting on an act. Now they're harder for them to be genuine about things because they're afraid that they're now going to lose their community because they were playing somebody else for so long. So I think a lot of the challenges is balance is one of my biggest ones. Staying genuine is not a problem. I'm me. I can't pretend. I'm not an actor. I can't pretend to be somebody else. I'd suck at it. But for other people, I've seen it's been a real challenge to be genuine and to stay genuine, not lose yourself. Those I think are the biggest challenges where you, as a creator, not getting disheartened. It's not your content. You got to remember how the algorithm works. Hard work does pay off, but in this industry, it's oversaturated. It costs money to brand. It costs money to advertise. Don't get disheartened. Don't give up.
Keep fighting. Keep going.
Yeah.
If you don't have a heart for it, and like you were talking about, everyone gets burnt out. I know I do. That's why I do these sporadically lately. It's hard to find that balance. And it's a matter of priorities, Life is always going to take priority over anything we do on here,
Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. And you have to find that balance. And I find a lot of us struggle with that balance. We have to play as hard as we work. And if we're not playing as hard as we're working, there is going to be an imbalance and you will burn out. And then you will look at creating content, whether you're recording or you're going live, as something that you just don't want to do anymore because you are exhausted because you've worked so friggin' hard, you forgot to play as hard.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. That's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, physically, whatever, spiritually, like everything. Yeah.
And Garbage Pail Queen, yep. Cassandra Peterson, hence how she became Elvira, right? Vampira was the very first Scream Queen. She was the very first goth. She was the very first for many things for women back in the day. If you haven't read Vampira and Me, it's a really great book. I have Cassandra Peterson's autobiographies, and I have a few of Vampira. And if you haven't read it, it's a really good read, and you get a really good insight as what it was like to be a woman of her stature doing what she was doing in an industry that took advantage of her. And from the being taken advantage of, the blossoming of Cassandra Peterson's career in the 80s as we get Elvira. Not taking away from Elvira, Cassandra Peterson is an amazing businesswoman. She is super friggin' smart. She knows sex sells and so does goofy comedy. And you put that together with boobs, you got fucking perfect, right? So to see how the industry also used women back then.
Yeah,
Cassandra
that's a big
was
thing.
used, Vampira was used. Like they literally used and abused these women. And it's disgusting. It is disgusting what Hollywood did to these women. And Cassandra Peterson has made a comeback because you remember after the 80s, she kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
The movie macabre was no longer a thing. She was gone. And then maybe I want to say maybe 10 years ago, and I'm being generous, that she came flying back on the scene like a badass bitch that she is. Right? So
I remember a show. There was a show about finding the next Elvira or something, was it? They really, that's when I noticed her starting to come back more and more as after that show took off.
Why be the next Elvira? Why not be the Frankenstein monster? Because that's me. I don't want to be the next Elvira. I don't want to be the next Vampira. I want to be the Frankenstein out of the witches and the vampires. I want to be Frankenstein's monster.
I don't
want to be. There's so many witches, so many vampires, so many. Why not be something else?
Be something completely different, right?
Yeah.
My love of Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, was one of the first loves I had of horror, personally. Like, I grew up, like you were talking about the Universal monsters and such, but it wasn't the monster for me. It was the man behind the monster that really attracted me to this. Like, and that got me into the whole Reanimator later on in life and everything else. And I don't know if it's so much being the monster itself for me, but, you know.
The monster went through.
Yeah.
I could relate. I was picked on as a kid. I was a
Yep.
loner. I was, people took me wrong instead of listening to me and actually getting to know me. People still do that to this day. Frankenstein's monster is a monster who is literally just that. He's misunderstood. He didn't purposely go out and murder that lady. It was all in an accident. He is somebody that was put together by all these different pieces and was told to walk on his own. He's in a world where he knows nothing about, and he's learning, and you got people, because he looks different, are pitchforking him and wanting him to die. And as a young person, I was able to relate to that because I was picked on, I was teased, I was bullied, I had no friends, I was by myself with my horror monsters. And that's, for me, that's what Frankenstein monster is. Out of all the monsters, he's the one who's the most misunderstood, and technically is not really a monster in my eyes. He's just somebody who's misunderstood.
That's what it is,
who
too.
looks like a monster.
That whole story, yeah, that was a whole play on that. And I thought, on that note, that's why I related to Jason, because I felt like he was just some poor kid that, and it wasn't
He was just a kid who had a handicap, and he drowned. People teased him for the way he looked because he was deformed, as you can tell. Like, my Jason right there is from part 3. He was teased, beat up, and that's where Friday the 13th for me is more of a sad movie than it is of a horror, a revenge movie. As a parent, I can definitely see that happening. Going back to where your son died, it's being reopened. Let's murder everybody.
Right?
PTSD.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. So
Truth.
She lost her son how many years ago? Long time ago. What, 1930s? Right? So she loses her son, and now that was a trauma in itself. And now how many years later the camp is reopening and all these kids are going to have fun, triggers a PTSD, and it brings back all that trauma, all that hate and anguish and pain that she's dealing with, and it triggers like that.
If only she had therapy, things would have been much different.
Possibly.
That's a side note. Well, I remember the game was touching on that too. That what was it? Jarvis's dad was a psychiatrist or something like that, right?
Yeah, they were doing some stuff.
That was an interesting thought.
I'd really love to know the backstory of Camp Crystal Lake before it was the camp, because we remember Crazy Ralph yelling around.
Oh yes.
Right. The camp is doomed. You're doomed. Is a death curse. What death curse? I want to know more about Crazy Ralph. I want to understand his character more, because we see Crazy Ralph here and there, and then he's murdered, right? I would love to see a backstory on Crazy Ralph and why the camp or the lake itself is got a death curse. Why?
I think that's brilliant right there.
What happened on that land? Because we have First Nations, right? And in life we have First Nations. Was there something going on in that area, on that lake, that maybe someone put a curse on? How does Crazy Ralph know that there's a death curse on that lake, besides Jason just drowning?
See,
I need to know more.
I agree. I would love to see more. So some of those characters from at least the first one, they should do like little backstories,
Yeah, maybe, Crystal Lake beforehand. I don't know how you want to do it, but I honestly, to be honest with you, now that the court case is somewhat over, there's still a lot of red tape.
Yeah.
I want to see a new Friday the 13th, but I also don't want to see a new Friday the 13th. I've seen what they did to Halloween and Laurie Strode's character. She's now the Sarah Connor of horror, and I fucking hate that. Like, I hate the fact that these final girls are surviving to begin with. Second, I hate the fact that these women are turning into the Terminator women. And you can fight me on it if you like, but Laurie Strode in H2O was what you would see a victim of trauma be like. She was scared, but she was strong. She was still willing to fight. And then all of a sudden in 2018, here comes Sarah Connor busting out looking like Laurie Strode. And then in Halloween
Beautiful.
Kills, she's now full on Sarah Connor, and she's like shotguns and build a death room. And what did I just fucking walk into? Yeah. No.
I can see that. That's funny because somebody else has mentioned the Sarah Connor aspect too. It's
That's what it is.
I agree. I kind of
Exactly who she is, her character now.
I don't like that they took the sister aspect away. I felt like that was, for me, that sold it
Well,
more.
they took away everything. Michael is now, he was no interest in Laurie Strode. He's interested in the window of this house.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Why?
telling me he's a window licker? Like, what are you telling me here? Like, what are you telling me? Is that he's no longer after this woman that he believes is his sister. He's now after this specific window in a house. Is he a peeping Tom? Like, what the fuck is Michael now? He's not the boogeyman anymore because he's not scary, not in any way, shape, or form. Not in these new reimaginings of Michael.
I'm gonna have to get you on with some of the Halloween verse guys sometime. You're gonna love it.
Oh my Lord, they're gonna hate me.
No, you guys, I feel like there's some that agree with you. I'll tell you that. There's definitely a few.
Halloween. Okay, so Halloween Kills.
Yep.
Literally Halloween Part 2. Literally.
Yep.
Just strip away the CGI. Okay. Exactly the same thing. Ben Tramer, right? In Part 2, what did the mob do? Right?
Yep.
There was a mob mentality that happened. Ben Tramer. Okay. You've got the mob in the hospital and the mental health guy that obviously had mental health issues. There's the mob. Laurie Strode did nothing in Part 2 and spent the time in the hospital. Halloween Kills, Laurie Strode did nothing and spent time in the hospital. The explosions, the fires, the same friggin' story. Nothing was different than Part 2. They just remade it, updated it with some firefighters, couple of more explosions, updated graphics and CGI. There's Halloween 2, but recreated for 2020.
Well, here's a question regarding the CGI. Do you prefer CGI or practical effects or a mix of both?
I prefer practical effects with a sprinkle of CGI. I find more realism in practical effects, taking some, oatmeal and other stuff, mixing it together and maybe some sausage links and making that someone's inside stomach than actually seeing CGI covered, organs. I would rather see the practical effects, maybe a little sprinkle of CGI, removing some wires, nothing crazy, very similar to what they did in The Exorcist.
Okay,
The Exorcist, when it first came out, there was a scene that was removed from the theatrical version, and that was the backwards spider crawl. A lot of people don't realize that was not in the release back then. That only came out 20 or so years later for the DVD or VHS DVD. And they were the only CGI that they actually utilized in there was to remove some of the strings and things. And that's where I think CGI is important, that you can still get the realistic aspect without taking away the realism. There was also another movie, I can't think of it off the top of my head, that everything was practical effects and they only used CGI to remove some of the stuff that they had to use wiring for. And I can't think of the friggin' movie right now.
No rush. Maybe just ponder on it for a moment. Well, maybe we'll come back to that.
Spell check.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Miss the traditional everybody dies. Yeah, the last Halloween made me laugh so hard. I see ya. Yeah, I mean, it was something.
It was funny. I mean, I like the kills. Don't get me wrong. I think Michael did a great job on killing people. I did enjoy the violence. But in reality, it was just a new version of Part 2 for me. I've already seen this. You're not giving me something new.
Oh,
I don't think there was really anything new in Halloween Kills.
I can't think of one thing. I always go into these new remakes just for the graphics, just for the kills, just for that at this point.
I go in with no expectation. Just like with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Fucking loved it.
I thought it was fantastic.
There's issues. Of course there were issues. I'm not going to say that there wasn't issues. I gave it an 8 out of 10 on my review. And it was an 8 out of 10 because of all the things put together, the cinematography, what he did, the homages that were thrown in there, all the little signaling stuff that was thrown in there. I really pissed off at the fact that they killed, well, not that they killed off a legacy, but the legacy of Sally Hardesty was replaced by some fucking twat with a sister that hated guns. Like, no, we didn't need you to at all. I didn't need a sad, sappy backstory to your, girl. I actually don't need any final girl. Murder them all. Nobody deserves to live. I just hate how quickly they just ran through Sally.
Yeah, that was something.
They ran through her. Like, Sally is a legacy.
I feel like that was a lot of pandering. You know what I mean? Like, just to let's make her show up and then disappear, right?
I would have liked to seen more focused around Sally. And then people were, calling it out. Oh, well, she's Laurie Strode. No. You see, the thing is, Sally had something really traumatizing to her happen, right? She didn't have some psycho following her for years, right? Tormenting her, doing these things for years. She escaped a very traumatizing time back in 1973. And yeah, I know the film was released in 74, but the events happening was in 73.
Right.
So she got out of that. She got her help. She, instead of her trauma turning her into somebody who was always scared, she built in on herself and she created herself as a stronger person, knowing that she is going to hunt down this mofo in a mask. Laurie Strode has been continuously traumatized. 1, 2, 3, actually not 3, but we remove 4 and 5 because we see Jamie, right? And then you bring it back. There is, then you go down to H2O. There is Laurie Strode. She's afraid. She's PTSD. She's traumatized. She's a functioning alcoholic. She's still got some fight into her, but she's still super scared of Michael. And then all of a sudden now she's like, from 2018 was supposed to be a direct sequel from what, 78?
I believe so, right?
And then in 78, she was in the hospital. That's where it all ends, right? So you're telling me that she went from a little girl next door to this badass death machine killing person. No.
It's not quite how it works, right?
Hardesty didn't even do that, right? You're telling me that she created this house, this safe haven, and this death room down below, because we all know that's what it was for, is to capture Michael and to set the whole mofo on fire, killing him, which won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I can't grasp the whole Sarah Connor, Laurie Strode. I just can't. And I don't believe they copycat Halloween Kills, and Laurie's character was Sally Hardesty. Sally did not build an entire death room in her house. She did not spend her life being afraid. She actually bettered herself and became a stronger woman out of all of this. Still hunting, but not actively hunting, not doing those things. So you're telling me Laurie went this one night of hell and became literally the Sarah Connor MacGyver of Halloween?
Funny how that works out, right?
Yeah. You can tell I'm very passionate about that. I friggin' hate it.
I love it, though. Passion is important. It shows,
Yeah, I don't judge people on their opinion either. So there are people who are going to love the new Halloweens, and to each their own. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Something my pops used to say all the time, too.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Manu, welcome to the party. I just realized that I had top chat on instead of live chat. I gotta watch the
live chat. Yes, you need live chat. Chat is always the best. I do my reminder.
Well, I had it on, and then I refreshed because I was having a lag issue, and then I forgot to turn it back on.
Yeah, yeah. Live chat, people get top chat, people get lost in. I don't quite understand the differences. Live chat and top chat. Don't you, as a creator, want to see everybody's chat?
Yeah, that's what I would think. You shouldn't even have the option of top chat.
It defaults right to top chat.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But Manu asks, how long does it take for ReAnimateHer to apply her makeup, her mask every morning? Is that what you're saying? What?
No, I think this person is trying to insult me.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. They're doing a horrific
yeah,
job,
that's terrible. What are you doing?
right? Like, throw some fucking balls, you piece of shit.
Oi.
You really want to tweak these nipples, you got to do something better than that, buddy.
Well, that's a pain in the ass there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Again, the internet gave everybody a voice, even the assholes of the world. Everybody's got a voice, and
yeah.
everybody thinks that they're so fucking edgy.
oh,
Meanwhile, you're not.
fucking idiot.
Loser.
Get out of here. We don't need that here.
All good. I have thick skin for a reason. I've been doing this for a very long time. This is not my first rodeo. I've been made fun of. People kind to like to make fun of the way I talk because I have a lisp. Other people like to use the term tranny, thinking that I'm a trans. And they'll come in and say that word, which is it's not a good word, but they think it's they think it's a way to demean me. That saying that calling me that or trans is a way to hurt my feelings when it's I don't find that disrespectful. Like you can't sit there and say call me those words and think that they upset me because they don't. Someone who is trans or gay can't use that as a way of disrespecting somebody. It's not an insult. You know
Childish.
what I mean? Call me trans all you want.
Childish people out there. That's all I can say.
Mm.
But I do want to get to this one. Do you Harjar once again coming through? Do you think they will ever make an Evil Dead without Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, they are. Dead Rising. The Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're working on
Ash
something, right?
They are working on one. Bruce Campbell himself in an interview stated that that Ash Williams is your average everyday man. Anybody can turn around and be a hero. He retired Ash Williams way back a couple years ago via Twitter, said that, Ash Williams is being retired, his character Ash. They canceled the TV show, Ash vs. Evil. And, and then at the same time, they canceled that show. He decided to retire Ash. Is it sad that he retires Ash? Of course it is. Ash is an amazing character. He's brought so much to the genre and Raimi, right? So to see the character to be retired is sad, but at the same time, he even stated that anybody can be an Ash Williams, male or female, and so that they're going to be bringing the Evil Dead Rise, which is going to be the 4th installment in the franchise, and not including the remake, which will be the 5th, but it'll be the 4th in the franchise. And I don't even know if we're going to see Bruce on screen. We might.
I thought he was done.
He's going to be the hero.
I thought they were. Yeah, I remember seeing. Well, there's a good question. What do you think of the Evil Dead remake?
I loved it. I loved the 2013. And no, you can't play the character forever, Mad Metal. Definitely understand that.
Oh, Mad
It's
Metal
always
Man.
sad to see. It's always sad to see it get retired, especially kind of in its prime. Ash vs. Evil Dead was out. You had 3 seasons, and then Starz canceled it, or Super Channel, whatever the fuck they're called. Monkey Darling, how are you?
Hey, welcome, Monkey.
And then he retired, which I understand. It's sad and it sucks, but that doesn't mean we can't have another El Jefe, right? It doesn't have to be male. And I have a feeling in the new one, it's going to be female.
I'm really sad about the show being canceled. I'll say that real quick.
It sucks that the show is canceled. I love the fact that he has a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And
I didn't watch it. Like, I didn't watch the last episode yet.
Oh, well, yeah, the last episode is the ending.
Yeah, or the last season. That's what I mean. Sorry.
That's a whole other animal, and it's sad that they dropped it that way. It really is. I would have liked to seen more.
I'm afraid to watch it, honestly. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. Bruce Campbell, all that. And I refuse to believe that it's dead right now, and I don't know. I want to keep it alive somehow, man. My heart hurts.
I think it'll always be there. It's just they're gonna extend off on it. I think the new movie that is still in the works, I haven't heard much on it. with the new movie, we might see him. I don't know. We might see him, and I do have a feeling it's gonna be a female.
We'll
The new
see.
El Jefe.
I'm okay with that. Like, I don't know, just make them
Oh, yeah.
badass, whoever it is.
It doesn't matter. I know that there's people that are still stuck in the whole thing, about female characters playing on a male role character, blah blah blah. But that's where there's a lot of tropes I'm tired of in the horror industry as well. Like, I'm done seeing some of these tropes.
Mad Metal Man, good to see you too, brother. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think people get too, I don't know, too obsessed over the whole. Doesn't matter gender, doesn't matter whatever. Like, don't focus on it. Just be a badass character, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, that's a good one. Oh, Monkey said they've been here the whole time, couldn't chat. I'm just now getting caught up in some of these, and I think I need glasses.
What Notepad is great.
Yeah.
What I do is I pop out the chat and I put it next to my. So how many monitors do you have?
I have 2 running right now, and
2?
Yeah, 2. Because I look over here for the Zoom. That's why I keep looking over here. Then I look over here for the chat. I should pop the chat over.
Is on my main monitor, I have, when I interviewed you, I have your webcam here, my Notepad here, and my chat right here. So I had all three items in front of my face. So I'm just looking like this, copy and pasting, putting in there, and making that eye contact with you.
That's the way to do it, honestly.
I set it all up with that's how I set it up on my one monitor here. I mean, I have 3 set up now, but all of my important stuff, so I can make that eye contact, would be you, the Notepad, and chat, and I don't have to look around all over the place, because sometimes shit gets busy.
It does. The way I set it up graphically with OBS too, that's a whole nother thing. I'm running through OBS and everything else. And
OBS, yeah.
I have to full screen this, and just doing the setups a pain in the ass sometimes, you know? I like graphics. I like lots of graphics.
I definitely understand that. Trippy saying they may not have meant to offend. And maybe a little come in clear. Saying?
Yeah, like, explain. I don't know if I don't think I banned him. Maybe I did. I don't know.
No, you deleted his message.
Yeah, okay. I have to look into this stuff. I haven't used YouTube in a while either.
Yeah, no, you didn't ban. You just deleted the message. You actually hid the message.
Good.
Then delete the message.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Trippy. Well, we'll figure that out. I hope they weren't trying to offend, because I don't put up with that.
That's one of the reason why I took it like that, is because that is one of the things that has been said to me to kind of insult me.
It's terrible. Like, honestly, the internet's a blessing and a curse. Like, people think they're invulnerable because they're behind a screen name. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's sick.
It's it is what it is, and
Oh, I've heard it too. Trust me. We'll get on that another time.
For sure.
Yeah, if you guys got questions, I mean, I don't know. I got you for a few more minutes, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what your time limit is, so just let me know if you need to get rolling. But like, okay, Trippy. Well, that's fine. That's fine. Figure it out. Wiki. Trying to figure out, like, no more questions, guys. You guys got questions? Let me know. There's too much going on.
Hard jar. There was one.
Yeah, I was trying to find a hard jar, right? Because you had another one about Lucy.
That was Monkey. So hard jars I answered about Bruce Campbell. Monkey, what did you think of Lucy Lawless and Ash? I love Lucy Lawless. I was very sad. Her character was gone. Like, super sad.
Xena for life, guys. I don't care what you say.
She's awesome, Lucy Lawless. Yeah, I thought she brought something to the characters. And I love Kelly. Kelly and Pablo would have to be my favorites.
What was it? Pablo's grandfather was the witch doctor, right, or something, or
He was,
shaman?
yeah,
Shaman,
yeah.
yeah.
A
That's-
brujo, because bruja is female witch, and brujo is.
Oh. See, I'm getting schooled here, guys. I'm getting schooled.
What upcoming movies are out
Yeah,
that I'm waiting for?
there you go.
I can't think of any at the moment. There was one, I just can't think of it.
Did you get a chance to check out the new Scream?
No, not yet. It's on my list. I have it. Well, our movie theater was closed.
Right. Okay.
So we just
Right.
opened up here where I live. We literally just opened up. So our movie theater is now open. I think it was as of March 1st. So our movie theater just opened up. It just came out on streaming services, so it's on my watch list to watch. And I'm just trying to think, is there a movie that I'm waiting for? Can't think of anything at the moment.
Nothing off the top of your head. What about it? I know we talked about some of the games coming out, like the new Texas
Evil
Chainsaw
Dead.
Massacre, Evil Dead. Okay.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is coming, and it's going to take them a bit, so
Right.
I'm not expecting that this year. I would be blown away if they come out with that game in October.
That'd be great. Good
Gun
timing.
Media is amazing. Sumo Nottingham. I don't know too much about them, but from what I've seen so far, they seem really awesome. The game that I am highly anticipating is the Evil Dead game.
I was just talking about that too. I know Bruce Campbell's kid's gonna do like a Twitch stream of it. I heard. Like
Yeah.
a live thing going on, right?
I think he did.
Or he did already. Okay.
I know there was some gameplay footage out because I actually have the gameplay on my YouTube, on one of my YouTube videos where I go over the game and I go in depth of what the game is going to have, what it's not going to have. I'm really excited for the Evil Dead game.
Hi Matt. Yes, we're live. It's good to see you, buddy. Yeah, that's what I'd say I was looking forward to. I can't think of any movies either. I saw the Scream one. I liked it for what it was, but no spoilers right now. If you guys want to see that, me and Hard Queen did a show on that recently. I think it was
Nice.
last one we did.
Love Tucker and Dale. It's one of my favorites. Alan is amazing.
Tucker.
Resident Alien TV show, if you haven't seen it yet. Resident Alien.
Resident Alien. Okay.
Alan, who is in Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, is the main character in Resident Alien, and I promise you, you will laugh your ass off.
Highly
find
recommended. If you're recommending it, I got to check it out.
Season 2, season 3 has been greenlit, so you'll have 1 and 2, and it's so funny. I love Alan. His facial expressions, yeah.
I'm writing it down right now. I keep notepads beside me for these reasons.
Ginger Snaps is a good film. Was The Mummy
Ginger
a horror
Snaps.
movie? I was laughing. The Mummy could be considered. It's funny. Brendan
consider it
Fraser is
art.
awesome. And if we're talking about the Brendan Fraser one and not the one with not the science religion guy, what the hell is his name?
Oh, yeah. The last one I knew about was a Brendan Fraser one and the Scorpion King stuff.
Tom Cruise. I had to think of
Oh,
it. I knew it was
whoa.
there. I had to think of it. I know him. I liked Tom Cruise in the younger years, like in Top Gun.
Mhm.
Other than that, I forget about Tom Cruise. But he did one in The Mummy.
I forget about Tom Cruise all the time too. It's all right.
Yeah.
You all seen Chucky TV show? Not yet. I haven't.
I have.
Yeah.
You're gonna enjoy it.
Okay.
You're gonna. I enjoyed it. There are people who bitched about it, but I don't want to go into it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, no spoilers, guys. Maybe we'll have to come back to that one. Everyone I talk to love the show. I have a few friends that have told me that I need to see it. I was a big fan of Child's Play, like 1, 2, 3, but after that, I stopped like paying it so much attention.
Yeah, the franchise. It's not horrible. I call it a fun franchise, just like
Sure.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. I think TCM is the most convoluted storyline ever because we have 2 timelines, right? We have the Hewitt family, which comes in later on, which we have the Sawyer family, the first family that we meet. I feel that Child's Play is a little convoluted and it's a fun franchise. I mean, come on, it's a friggin' guy in a doll running around murdering people, and a doll that you would probably look at and punch across the friggin' room. And here he is murdering people.
Well, I feel like later on, like, and this happened with Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger too. They became more more comedic.
Mm,
As the sequels started coming out. Like, I was just watching
yeah.
prime example, Freddy's Dead. That was just pure comedy at that point.
Oh yeah, Freddy was known for his one-liners. Wes Craven wanted he didn't want your normal slasher villain. He wanted the one-liners. He wanted what Freddy turned into, and Robert Englund turned Freddy into who he is. There's nobody that can play Freddy Krueger. You don't have the body language and you don't have the comedic value. I've never seen the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. I will never see the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. Um, nobody can be nobody, and nobody can be Robert Englund. Nobody can be Freddy. He is, no matter how much mask and latex and shit you put all over him, there's no way.
I can agree with that. Robert Englund definitely, like, that was my first nightmare as a kid, was Krueger. Okay, there's one from Monkey. I'm sure you can see it too. This one is for Serial. Why is Myers better than Jason?
Because Jason is so much better than Michael.
Mm.
He's a killing machine. He's a brute force. Like I said earlier, he's a
Yep.
freight train. And the sad thing is that all these remakes of Halloween have turned Michael Myers into Jason Voorhees. I know Serial will hate me on that one, but
Hey, tell him like it is,
they did. Michael is no longer the boogeyman. They stripped him of that. They stripped him of that. He's not scary in these films. He's Jason.
See, let's get into that in a minute. What do you think about the Cult of Thorns stuff with the whole Halloween franchise?
It's weird, but hey, why not? Right?
Why not? Right. Okay. Don't tell me. I'm waiting for Craig to jump in and start bitching about the Rob Zombie Halloween franchise any minute now.
I didn't mind Rob Zombie's take on Halloween. I didn't care for some things. I love the violence. Loved the violence, the stabbing scenes. Great. I disliked the family, how Rob Zombie made Michael's family. I didn't like the fact that Michael was eating out of the garbage. I didn't care for the fact they made his mom a stripper, and I just didn't care for a lot of the story. What I did like, though, is the violence.
It's all about the violence for some of this stuff, right? Yeah, Trippy, I know you told me to see it. Why are you talking RoboCop? I didn't mention RoboCop, guys.
Wiki wants to know, what did I think of the 2019 reboot or reimagining of Child's Play? To be honest with you, I actually enjoyed it. It was a totally different storyline than what Child's Play actually was. And I think that movie would have done way better if they had a different title to it. Maybe Good Guy Dolls. Sorry if you hear my granddaughter. She's downstairs. I really enjoyed Chucky, the 2019. It was a different story altogether. You had very similar characters, obviously, Andy, but you had a totally different storyline. There was no voodoo involved with this one. It was a microchip inside of a toy that malfunctioned that turned him into this iRobot kind of shit. You know what I mean? If they would have named it like Good Guy Dolls Gone Bad or something, I don't know, but named it something other than Child's Play or Chucky, I think that movie would have done amazing. Keep it in the universe, like Spiral. Spiral is in the same universe as Saw. Right? There's the Saw franchise, and then there's a spinoff like Spiral. If you haven't seen Spiral, I recommend it. But I liked Spiral, and you could utilize that movie in 2019 to be in the same universe as Chucky. I think they should have named it something else, though.
I can agree with that. I've heard spoilers. I haven't seen it, but I've heard the spoilers. I'll leave it at that.
It's good. And Chucky and Tiffany, they fight. I have Tiffany on this side you can't see, and Chucky's on this side, and he does move. I swear to God, he moves himself around my room. I have 3 grandbabies. I'm a lot older than you think.
Experience is what I say. None of us are old. We're just experienced.
Yep. Terminator, how a good boy goes bad.
See, I could say that the idea of the microchips, man, maybe that's what they should have done with the Puppet Master franchise.
Puppet Master's fun.
I love
dolls.
them. Loved them. Absolutely. Ninja 76. I am not. I am 82. Thank you.
Bye, Harder. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, right. All right, take care, brother. Yeah, good to meet you guys. Thanks for coming by. Figure we're gonna wrap this up here in a few, probably the way I'm looking at it. So this is something I used to do, and I'm trying to bring this back. So if you had one message to give the world right now, what would it be?
Have some fucking empathy.
How about it?
You have no idea what that person behind the counter or in front of you on the TV screen has gone through, been through, and is going through. Have some fucking empathy. Stop canceling people over stupid shit and have some fucking empathy. There's no empathy nowadays.
I feel like it's lacking. I can agree with that.
Gone. Yeah. There's a few of us that can say, oh yeah, okay, I empathize with that. But many of us are like, oh, too bad, too fucking sad, get a job. You know, they're too busy to blame and judge somebody off of something they may have done in the past or may have made a mistake. Just have some fucking empathy. That's it. You see it all over the place.
It's true. It's a little more caring. Trippy says you're like 20, so congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you. No, I'm going to be, oh God, I'm going to be 45 this year.
Oh, I'm catching 45. Up. Don't worry, I'm right behind you.
Yeah, age is just a number.
Correct. Terminator versus RoboCop versus Chucky. RoboCop.
That's I think I don't know. I think Terminator. Like
really?
How? Well, doesn't RoboCop have a small human side to him still?
He does. Yeah.
Right?
He does.
Terminator has no humanity whatsoever. So the only way you can actually take down a Terminator is by boiling it in something that can boil metal. Right?
Pretty much you're destroying a robot at that point, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Terminator would outtake RoboCop and Chucky.
I don't know.
Trippy. You know, empathy is one thing, and you can only try to empathize. Again, some context is needed if we're talking about like these racists and shit like that. No.
Yeah.
We ain't got time for you.
Nope.
But, you know, other things, try to have that empathy. We're so quick to judge people nowadays, especially stuff that they did in their past. We're so quickly, 10 years ago, somebody said something. What, you think in 10 years they haven't grown? They haven't learned? We just jump on them like they're a piece of shit. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We all have a friggin' heart. We all have a conscience, right? So we may have done something in the past. Everybody has done something wrong in the past. There is nobody, not one of us, that has a squeaky clean past. And if everyone dug up something on everybody in this world, I'm sure there's some pretty badass shit that would get you canceled. Just empathizing with that person and what they were going through at that time. Obviously, again, in context, homophobia, no. Racism,
there's
no.
a line. There's a line.
There is a line, and it's all in like I said, in context. But empathy, I see it all over the place. Empathy is gone.
These questions. Would a Cobra assault rifle work on the Terminator? Sure, why not? Anything can work on anything if you write it in a script.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think this is a good place to stop. But you want to do any last minute shout outs before we head out?
Just wanted to say to Mad Metal Man, my very first horror movie that I seen, didn't quite understand, was Friday the 13th. I was 5 when I seen that.
Oh yeah, he missed that part, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, because we spoke about it earlier. I just have to give a shout out to each and every person that's here today, hanging out with us, chilling, representing, and giving support to the Pants Ninja and myself. Thank you, Muffin. To those of you who watch our videos, who watch our content, who hang out with us, who share our stuff, who are our friends, guys, a huge shout out to each and every one of you, because you don't realize the kind of stuff that you do for us. I know stuff is not the word that I wanted to use, but I can't think of the word at the moment. But you guys don't realize what the support that you do and what it does to us as creators, even hobby creators, part-time creators, full-time creators. The fact that you took the time to come in here and sit with us for what, almost 2 hours, chit chatting, lurking, just hanging out, liking this. Don't forget to like this video and share this shit out to your friends. Tell people about the dojo. Um, my shout out goes to each and every one of you guys and the horde for the support and the amazingness that you guys do every day. So keep on fucking rocking out there.
That's what it's about too. So
Mhm.
thank you again, Ra. Really appreciate you coming by and hanging out today.
Thank you.
Hopefully, like I said, we'll have you back sometime if you're willing. You know, we'll get a little.
Always fun. I love chit chatting horror. It's one of my favorite. I get very passionate. You can tell earlier that I was like, and then now I'm just a little laid back. Horror is my love. I live and breathe it. It's not a genre for me. It is a lifestyle. It is a culture. And it brings out my passionate side. I call my tangent side. You call it a passionate side. I call it
Perspective, right? It's all perspective.
yeah, but it's all in fun. I'm not
That's-
a gatekeeper. I believe everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You don't like a movie doesn't mean you're a piece of shit. Just means the movie wasn't for you.
Yeah, well, that's why there's so many different subgenres of this, that, and the other. So many styles.
Horror has the most subgenre ever in any genre.
I think, yeah, metal is to music as horror is to the film industry. They have so many subgenres of this stuff. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. But yeah, so shout out to you guys for hanging out. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like she was saying, for me, this is a hobby. This is fun. It's a great way to share our love for an interest. And obviously, we cover a lot of things here on this channel, but horror is our thing right now, and it's always been a part of me. And it just seems like we definitely need to push it a little more. Thanks, Bonsako. Appreciate you. He says, fantastic stream, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of fun. And I know sometimes when I'm not smiling, I may look unapproachable because I have major resting bitch face. Like, I know I do. Trust me. I've seen it. So I am super approachable on stream, off stream, in Twitter, wherever.
You're real, though, and that's what I appreciate. You're passionate, you're real, and you're talented, and you're a hard worker.
Thank you very much.
No, I just see it, and I respect it. So everybody, please go under this video, find her all her social medias, the websites down there. There is a Discord, but I didn't put it on there. I don't know why I didn't.
It's all good.
I'll fix that
If
later.
people want to find me, they'll find me.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But I definitely have to
look at it.
shout out Raw because amazing. And this has been a fun show. And thank you guys for coming out.
Had a blast. It's a blast. Thank you for having me. Seriously.
Yeah,
Lots
yeah.
of fun.
We'll get you on a panel show. Like I said, you'll
A round table, like I think it was Mad Metal. A round table would be fun.
Yeah,
Different horror personas, jumping in, have a conversation.
Well, that used to be our Saturday night streams.
Yeah.
I should get back into that, I guess. But all right.
I do a somewhat a kind of a round table. It's not live. It's usually just a bunch of us hanging out, just tweaking each other.
Well, shit, yeah. Well,
That was
drop a line anytime. We'll figure something out.
fun. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, this is it. Thank you all once again. Appreciate every one of you. We're gonna leave it at that. And next Sunday around the same time, Roy from Americans is joining us. We're gonna kick it for a little while. And like I said, I'm still rescheduling the Texas Chainsaw Massacre stream we were gonna do. So that's in the works. And guys, I'll get back on Twitch soon, I promise.
Balance. Twitch is a beast. It's a beast. If you ever need help with it, hit me up. I've been on the platform for a while.
Like you said, finding the energy after I work like 9 hours. I'm a full-time chef. I'm a graphic artist. I'm doing all this crap. Like, here we are. But we keep pushing, guys, and I want each and every one of you out there to keep pushing, better yourselves, better the world, smile at least once a day, and always surrender your pants to the ninja. All right, guys, be good or be good at it. We'll catch you next time.